Welcome back to Hard4Games, everybody. I'm Tony.
I'm John.
And we have a special treat for you all today.
Yeah, so our last video was about a whole bunch of dumps. And one of them got way more attention than we really thought. Tai Fu. I was like, okay, I think I've heard of that game before, but it'll probably be that Atlas game that gets all the attention.
Yep.
Nope. This one.
Tai Fu. It is the earliest version ever discovered, as it turns out. So we're going to be rocking this today, giving you history, differences, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and to think it just walked into my store.
Yeah, cheers. Ooh. Ooh. There we go. Got the soft spot here.
Tai, you must go. But what brought them here? Why should I be any more important than anyone else? Look at our...
DreamWorks? Chinese martial arts? Kung Fu Panda? Not quite. This is Tai Fu Wrath of the Tiger, a 3D beat-em-up released in March 1999 after delays, changes, and game length reductions. It's probably clear from the footage that this was the precursor, the embryo, if you will, of Kung Fu Panda.
In fact, our friend Leopard, I apologize if I got the name wrong, a super fan of Tai Fu, reached out to many of the engineers and artists back in the early 2010s. Inquiring about early versions of the game. They sent him unseen art and hinted that some of their work even inspired design aspects of Kung Fu Panda.
Which, of course, should not come as any surprise. No. Although, I don't know this for sure, but I doubt they were credited.
Yeah, or paid.
Yes.
Oh, Hollywood.
The build we're dealing with today is from mid-1998. 3 levels are playable, though we'll warn you certain emulators won't play any of them. There are a ton of differences as well, starting with the developer splash screen, the title screen, the fact that they give the player all the button combos to begin with, the world map, etc., etc., etc. The 3 levels that are available to us are Leopard Jungle, Leopard Fortress, and Temple Bridges. Labeled here as Fortress, Garbled Mess, maybe that's an emulator issue, not sure, and Bridges. Now we are going to dive into each level today, starting with the Jungle level. But first, I want to get you all reacquainted with the retail version of the game, so here's a quick montage of the final build of that level. So now, moving on to the beta level. Now you're going to notice, again, immediate differences. This loading screen is different. That logo you saw is different. So before we jump into the level too much here, I just want to point out some universal gameplay differences. Now, first off, you're going to see a different HUD here. It's completely designed in a different way. Now, when I hit the attack button, in the retail version, a little triangle will appear in the middle, or a little chi symbol will appear in the middle, and I can do my combo attack. Here, that does not happen. Also, when I attack, you can hear the voice here in the beta version of the game, or alpha, whatever you want to call it in this state. It's a little bit different. There's more growling, it's more bassy, it's more like guttural, essentially. Yeah. Control-wise, you're also going to notice that it does not support the joysticks. You can only play via the D-pad, which makes sense because when it gives you the combos at the beginning, it showed on a regular original PlayStation controller. You're going to notice here as well, in the retail version, there's sort of like a mucky swamp thing that you can sink down into. Here, it's more of a quicksand, although you don't sink much, just a little bit, kind of, but it immediately kills you. Another thing here. When you get knocked down, you stay down for a long time.
And if it's in that quicksand, it sucks.
Oh yes. Overall, the balance is just worse. The enemies seem to be a lot harder here, and they gang up on you more. And you get knocked down for a much longer period of time, like we mentioned. See what happens here? I'm just getting obliterated. And this normally doesn't happen too much in the retail version of the game.
Yeah, it's very strange that they would give out an editorial preview that is just so hard.
Now, in addition to the difficulty, you're going to notice different enemy designs, different enemies kind of scattered throughout here. The retail version of the game also has some moments where you need to defeat X number of enemies to continue. That does not exist here in this particular jungle level.
It's a fun little, like, 3D beat 'em up if you want some old PS1 nostalgia. This thing is rife with bits of PS1 tropes that you probably missed and you didn't even remember that they were there. I found it very charming. If you die enough, you die in real life.
That's right. Now, these guys are very aggressive, as we mentioned before, but many of them will follow you seemingly for a much longer period of time compared to the retail version of the game.
Almost forever.
Yeah, they will not let up. I was playing this game, and there were definitely parts where the enemies would just follow me off a cliff. It was fascinating and bizarre. Now, from what I recall, there's no end to this level. Because in the retail game, again, there's a moment where you have to beat a certain number of enemies, and then you can continue. You get like a gold coin to be able to continue to the next level. Here, that doesn't occur.
Gold coin definitely smacks to me of... they originally wanted those levels bigger, but then they realized, like, these are way too big. What if we just have a fight, and you get the gold coin, and you just go to the next thing?
Yeah. Well, because look, there's stairs here, and you think you'd be able to go up them, but it's an invisible wall. Next up, we have the fortress, but again, let's showcase some of the retail footage just so you all can see. Now, you mentioned earlier that you think level layout is relatively similar here.
Very similar.
Yeah. You can one-hit kill the enemies in the retail version with the pots. You can't do that here. Also, the pot design is different. Here's another bit here. We have some nipples. And these
Can't say that on YouTube.
are not in the retail version of the game. They're still, but there's not the little dots for the center point. All right, it is bridges, and once again, we're going to showcase some retail footage first. So per usual, the enemies are way harder here than they are in the retail version of the game, and of course they follow you around, but unlike most of the other levels, you are very much at risk of falling to your death here. So it's a little bit challenging, because... Oh, that guy just killed himself.
Perfect timing.
It's a little bit challenging because it's kind of scary, like you're going to constantly get knocked off.
You can't really compare this game to a full retail release because it isn't.
No.
So if you have a base of other, half-finished games to base it on, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
In comparison to a lot of the beta builds and stuff like that, there's actually a lot of game here.
So now is probably a good time to show off some of those debug features. We have a Move Anywhere mode, which is R2 and triangle. And then we can kind of move around with the D-pad.
L1, R1 moves you up and down.
Yes. Now, our friend also dug into the files and found the following unused and previously unseen art. This includes level names of areas that we don't have access to in this build, supposedly, because they also did some rough adjustments to the files, which allowed for some of the unavailable levels to be playable. Keep in mind, though, they are very rough. The levels we just played were very rough. These were the levels that didn't even get to be included in the preview, because they're so rough. Now, granted, this is all very new, and I'm sure once this gets released, it's going to be released via Codebound, by the way. Once it gets released, people can dig around and make it more smooth and playable and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
So we'll see. Let's go ahead and start with the tutorial level.
Oh,
Yep.
Wow. Mostly untextured.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
So this is basically the tutorial level in a very early plain state.
Whoa!
Well, you went too far, clearly. Let's boot up the next
It just
one.
takes me back to the beginning. So what killed me? Well, there's just like something. Oh, there's some little spot here that just like, yeah.
Oh, obliterated. Ooh, this is very foggy and brightly lit comparatively.
It's so much more primitive. Everything's foggier. It doesn't have the nice lighting. It has whatever the hell that is. Like, they haven't done sort of like the atmospheric lighting or anything like that. It's got the snakes, but wow, it is just so different.
Alright, so this is level 2. Again, not counting the tutorial level as a level.
Yeah, HUD's getting a little glitchy now. Okay, yeah, I think I kind of remember this.
Now, keep in mind that this is very glitchy, but the individual that put this together kind of did it very quickly today. So it's entirely possible that, you know, once some more time is spent trying to piece this all together, that it'll be more stable. It's also possible that maybe it won't be. I don't know.
This might be the best we ever get.
Yep.
But it's more than we had.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
There I go. Off into the abyss.
Amazing.
Well, that is it today for Tai Fu. And again, this came from a big old load of 30 disc-based games and pieces of software that we dumped, and there was a bunch of other stuff in there. So, you know, this seemed to be something that you guys were interested in, but I'll put a link below and in the card above. You can check out that video if you haven't seen it already, and comment either there or here if there's other games or software that you want us to cover, because there's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, and you've got a whole bunch more to go, right?
Yeah, I got a big giant box. I actually posted a picture of some of the material on Twitter, or X or whatever, but it's just a ton of Game Boy games, like 15 or 16, and then there's like an additional 10 or 15 games of like Genesis / Mega Drive, SNES, and there's even like a Game Gear game. So there's just a ton of stuff, and one of the Game Boy Advance games was unreleased. But again, if there's anything from that previous lot, let us know in the comments below. Let us know if you are going to go out and play some Tai Fu today. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Hey everybody, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I wanted to give a special shout out to Kenny Lauderdale. He swung by both my streams where I tested both versions that we talked about today, and I really wanted to thank him for watching us, commenting on our videos and all kinds of stuff, but also for the content he's put out for years. Honestly, I've been watching him for far longer than he's probably been watching us. It's very, very cool to see you pop up in the comments or in chat and things like that over the years. But I saw you've been having a rough one recently, so I thought it would be cool if I gave a little shout out at the end of this video where I put your Streamlabs, because Kenny works on a lot of video and animation preservation, not too dissimilar from our video game preservation. So if you like that sort of thing, and if you're like me, a little bit of a weeb, and you'd like to see some animation stuff get preserved, you might want to help him out. It would be very nice. He's a great person, so it would be cool if you sent some money. I'm not going to twist your arm. It's all on you guys. I'm going to send some. Your call. But I didn't ask him if this was cool to do. I figured I would just surprise him. But yeah, if you guys want to use that Streamlabs, the QR code is the Streamlabs link. We'll probably put it down there somewhere. But that's it. I just wanted to help somebody out I've looked up to for a long time. And That's really it. Didn't really write an proper end to this episode. Well, this segment of the episode, anyways. So, what have you guys been up to? Uh-huh. Cool. No, I haven't played that. I did see someone play it recently, though. That was kind of cool. Yeah. No, I could see that. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Uh-huh. No. No, I didn't pay too much attention. It was on the other monitor. Oh, me? Well, glad you asked. So I've recently been rewatching Twin Peaks. It's a fun series to go back through, but you know, I hope Tony doesn't edit this part out. But I just wanted to say, I feel these films, it's like a teepee. They point in different directions, but they hold each other up. And that's why I've always kind of viewed these as a trilogy. I know it's strange, but I think more people should be open to seeing films in that way, and I think that's very important. But I think it's a great watch that way. Speaking of which, 28 minutes. Yeah. Guess I did go on a bit there. Well, I should let you guys go on about your life. So, thanks for swinging by.